We witnessed what could be the greatest acquisition in the crypto market about 3 months ago. Ripple bought Hidden Road, a huge company, for $1.25 billion. Over the past few months, we've been looking into how important this agreement actually is. We realized from the start that there was a lot more to this tale than what was being said in public. The stats they gave us were already very good. $3 trillion flows through every year, with linkages to more than 300 large banks. By any standard, that's massive. But when you think about where the whole crypto world is going, this purchase becomes even more amazing. I want to show you something that I saw recently that caught my eye. Anderson shared something from Ripple's account that really drives this home. He added that Ripple's secret purchase of a road could have been the biggest power maneuver in the history of cryptocurrency. He says that we're not talking about billions, we're talking about trillions. And he is completely right. It goes much above the $3 trillion a year, or those 300 links between institutions. Something a lot greater is going on here. This next paragraph is very important, so pay attention. We're keeping an eye on prime brokerage services, which have long been the major banks area. They are now fundamentally different to bring institutional players into DeFi with the right regulatory clearing for futures, swaps, and crypto. We're talking about opening up trillions of dollars in trade volume. Brad Garlinghouse is back with another 1-minute crypto breakdown. This time, he talks about how prime brokers are making it easier for people to move between traditional finance and DeFi on a large scale. You should look at this. Let's be honest. Who is better, David Schwartz or me? Hey, I'm Brad Garlinghouse. This is One Crypto. Prime Broker is a one-stop shop for all kinds of asset managers, including well-known hedge funds, trading desks, and market makers. It allows them a place to trade and settle everything, including digital assets, derivatives, swaps, and all kinds of other things. And these people are trading trillions of dollars. In the past, big commercial banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs have actually owned those. Banks don't do new things like Hidden Road, which Ripple just bought. Hidden Road is new to this field and is developing swiftly by serving the same market but also adding digital assets to the mix. Having a well-capitalized company like Hidden Road with an extremely solid balance sheet is letting more institutions get into these asset classes versus a well-capitalized competitor. That is prime brokers bringing people into crypto in 1 minute. What truly gets us excited about Hidden Road is it's all about the derivatives side of things. People in the XRP community have been talking about getting into the derivatives market for years. And let me tell you, this isn't just a small part of finance we're talking about. The market for derivatives is huge. But this is the crazy part. No one truly knows how huge it is. The existing system doesn't let us see things clearly enough to keep track of it or acquire correct data. Some estimates say that the notional value is over $600 trillion, while others say it might be over a quadrillion. But what if we could use DeFi to move all of that derivative trade on the blockchain? Everything becomes apparent, easy to follow, and open all of a sudden. We would finally be able to understand how big this market really is, and it would still be in the hundreds of trillions. So Ripple didn't simply buy Hidden Road as a partner, they bought the whole thing. The possible effects on DeFi are truly amazing. This fits well with what Ripple has been saying lately. They are determined to make institutional DeFi a key part of the XRP ledger. That's why I keep saying that Ripple is making it possible for trillions of dollars to go across the XRP ledger, with XRP being the settlement token for all those big transactions. And here's the best part, XRP's pricing right now won't last. When there are so many transactions that need XRP as gas to settle, the price pressure will be huge. Another important thing to talk about is custody solutions. Subjective opinions only showed how Ripple's custody platform is already being used by some of the biggest banks in the world. Look at this. But Joni, I wanted to give it to you, right? So, in the context of institutions and the larger design space that Josh just talked about, how does Ripple Custody decide which things to focus on and which ones not to? What requirements are you meeting in the market with some of these products or services that you're bringing to the table? Ripple Custody is regarded to be the best solution on the market for institutions, and we offer a lot of options for scaling and flexibility. Governance layer that lets our institutional customers actually tailor things to their own operational demands and process. And we have helped customers all over the world. A lot of them are quite big organizations. I guess I can show you some examples. For instance, DBS is an example of institutional grade control. They use our federated governance approach, which lets each business line have its own set of rules. This is very important for large-scale multi-asset operations since it lets institutions safely handle a variety of digital assets while still following the rules and running their businesses efficiently. That's why integrational grade control is so vital, and we are quite good at that. The second thing is the size of the tokenized asset. For example, HSBC and Sojin Forge use Ripple Custody to create and manage digital bonds and tokenized gold. This is a very strong sign that our technology is ready for micrograde tokenization and can meet the growing demand for it. Regulated digital assets that meet changing global requirements. And another use case is crypto wealth for private banking. Our client, BBVA, is using Robo's platform to keep BTC and Ethereum safe, which lets them give their private banking clients secure access to digital assets. So there are a lot of different ways to use it, and generally our solution really. Put security, flexibility, and scalability at the top of your list so that you can serve these very huge top financial organizations. We already know that Ripple has some of the biggest institutional clients in the world, especially when they bought MedEco. The fact that these huge banks are already using Ripple custody could be the key to everything that's going on in crypto right now. We've talked about this a lot previously, but it's worth going over it again. Ripple's website has a section for institutional crypto and digital asset custody. If you go there, you'll discover that their main goal is to help enterprises start and grow new digital asset business models. Tokenization is the first thing they talk about. When I click on that part, it becomes quite clear that Ripple wants the XRP ledger to be the main part of their whole infrastructure for businesses. This is about real-world asset tokenization happening right on the XRP ledger. They've created a whole mechanism that lets institutional participants protect their tokenized assets on the XRP ledger through Ripple's custody platform. This opens up a lot of new options. The XRP ledger is really important for this to work. They even explain why they chose tokenized assets on the XRP ledger, which has been up and running for over 12 years and has completed more than 1 trillion transactions. The XRP ledger is becoming a full-fledged financial platform for regulated DeFi. It's helping businesses process payments, give out credit, trade digital assets, and move value from the real world to the blockchain. The financial effects are huge, but the problem is, Ripple custody is what makes all of this feasible in the first place. How can we be so sure about this? Well, it's not just a guess. MedEco really did a great job at explaining this in November 2023. Custody is what makes it possible. Custody is the basic building block that regulated institutions need to use to produce services that their clients would appreciate. Look at this. Custody makes it possible. Can you then get into value-added services using custody? Then, can you go into payments, tokenization, and other streams using custody? And custody is this important piece that you need to put on the table so that you can build on it and make a service that your clients will love. That's exactly what Ripple Custody is. It's the same thing as MedEco, just with a new name. They made it plain that crypto custody isn't simply about storage when we look back to March 25th of this year. It's all about control, compliance, and safety. Choosing the correct custody solution is quite important as more institutions start using them. Ripple is doing something really smart here. They are making an all-encompassing umbrella that gives institutional actors access to everything they need. Tokenization,